What's up, everybody? It's DJ Snead, creator and host of Let's Get Booked podcast, a show where I bring business owners on to promote their business and potentially get booked by people like you. You can expect to hear many different business owners on this podcast, from photographers to caterers to tax services to venue owners and live bands. Check out the link in the description or go to my website at djsnead.com and click podcast to learn more about the businesses you never knew you were looking for. Tell them the Snead sent you. Let's get booked.
I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait. I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait. I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait. I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait.
Here it is. What's up, everybody? I am DJ Snead, and welcome to another episode of Let's Get Booked. And on this episode, I am continuing just to talk to some previous clients of mine whose weddings that I DJ'd. And I'm really looking forward to talking with this couple today. We're talking about the songs that define their night, the unforgettable moments. We're just talking about everything. I'm catching up with them, getting to see what they've been doing. And I really hope you enjoyed this one. So without further ado, I have two of my favorite people from the weddings that I've done. I can't wait to catch up with them. But we have Matt and Annie here with me on the Let's Get Booked podcast. Matt, Annie, how are you doing?
Great.
I am doing magnificent. It is so good to see you. I'm really looking forward to catching up with you, see how things are going and this and that. But let me break it down to my listeners and my viewers, okay? I think, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think, how long you guys have been married for how long, right?
Our 4th wedding anniversary is tomorrow, actually.
Wow, 4 years.
Yep.
How amazing, 4 years. So listen, I was thinking about this and I said, you know what? I think we were 4 years too late, because during your wedding reception, we could have had a viral moment.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we like, it was before the TikTok and all that really blew up and took off.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what? We could have had that viral moment and you guys could have just blew up off of that. But we'll get more into that a little bit later. Let's start off by, how have you two been? How is everything? How's life? How's everything been since the last time that we talked and we were at your wedding reception?
It's been good. There's been lots of changes. We were living in Columbus before, and we moved down to Cincinnati now.
Okay.
We have a dog and 2 cats, and we bought a house, and so the ball's just been rolling.
I think
That's awesome.
3 years today that we closed on
Closed
our
on
house.
our house,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
we've had our house for 3 years and we've been married for 4. So
And the pets and
Yeah.
everything. So
That's awesome. Congratulations. I'm just so happy to see you two and just to catch up and know that you're doing well. That really brings joy to my heart. So just know that I've always rooted for you. I've always cheered for you. And listen, this couple, ladies and gentlemen, this couple is different, okay? Because I like to say that you guys not only like gave me an opportunity to rock at your wedding and do all that fun stuff, but the repeat customers that I've had from just your wedding alone has been wild. It's been crazy. But I did your wedding because somebody
that's true.
reached
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody reached out to you and said, "Hey,
Mhm.
I need you to book Snead because he's
Yeah.
cool." So yeah, so I really appreciate that. It's been amazing, and it's always good when I get to come back and catch up and talk with not old, but couples of the past. And 4 years, that's wild. That's
I know.
wild. But
It seems
yeah.
crazy to us too.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because what, you're only 19, so
Yeah,
Something
correct.
like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, I'll dive right into a couple questions that I have for you. Just want to be able to be transparent with you. You two were one of the first couples for me when it came to how my business looked like after COVID,
Yeah.
right? So before COVID, I was meeting with couples in person. I was going to different Starbucks or Panera Bread or different places like that, meeting with them in person. But then once COVID hit, everything turned into the virtual world. So you two were like one of the couples at the infant stage of how I actually do business today. Because um all of my meetings with my clients are virtual now, which is amazing. I'm not driving all around the city and stuff, but also I realized a little bit after I did your wedding and some that season that I can do this virtually. Like I don't have to be in person to this and that. So let me ask you that question. How did that feel doing everything virtual with somebody and meeting them for the first time in person at your wedding?
For me, I think that it's kind of a roundabout way, but it added a layer of comfort to it because I wasn't just going to meet some random guy at a Starbucks that I had gotten a referral from to, I was in the comfort of my own home, but I was also able to scroll through my Spotify on, my phone or my laptop or whatever and have all those resources there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it necessarily impacted it at all. Getting married in 2021 because it was COVID, it felt normal.
Yeah.
And I would
Yeah.
imagine that it feels even more normal now that we've progressed out of that.
Right.
And I
Right.
think I think when we were booking a lot of our other vendors and everything else for our wedding, I think the only thing that we did in person prior to the wedding was like touring the venue. Everybody else that we had talked to had been virtual, and I don't know if that's the way that they had been doing business. But like the florist, our videographer, everybody except for our photographer who we had known previously. I think the first time we met them was at the wedding. So
Yeah.
it seemed normal at the time. I honestly didn't
Yeah.
even think anything of it. So I think it
Gotcha.
yeah. And I like what you said about it kind of adding a layer of comfort. As somebody who gets nervous kind of when I have to meet new people, I think being able to be in our
Yeah.
home and do that kind of stuff, I think it was good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. You know, if you really think back, so let's go back to 2021. Were you guys one of those 2020 weddings or that you had to push it to 21 or was it
No, no,
always
we got
21? Okay.
engaged. We got engaged in January of 2021, and our wedding was
Oh, okay.
October. So
Yeah. We had a pretty
Okay.
quick turnaround.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because when you think about it, I had my 2020 calendar was crazy. And then COVID hit, and everybody that was booked in 2020
mm,
basically went to 2021.
Yeah.
I believe 2021, I did like 44 weddings. It was wild. It was wild. But I know you guys were towards the end, the
mhm.
back end. But yeah, that season it was crazy to me and such a blur. But I'm 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 happy that I was able to live through that and be here to tell the stories about it. You know, so let me ask you this. When you were planning for your wedding, how important was the DJ to you?
I would probably say that it was less important than it probably should have been. I think that
Gotcha.
we're both relatively laid back. Like the whole goal for our wedding was get a bunch of people that we love together and have a good time. And we didn't
Yeah.
really have any plans for, I didn't want it to be one of the kind of stuck up weddings where there's something planned every 5 minutes and there's somewhere where I got to be and I have to be in this pose for a picture or do that. And so we really didn't pay as much attention to it as we probably should have. And I think that we lucked out because you kept us on track because we didn't have set plans where everything was at a certain time. It wasn't super structured. So, yeah, I would say that at least from my end, we didn't put as much consideration as we should have.
Yeah. Like, I think I had thought about, like, oh, what do I want, our first dance to be? Like, those really, really important songs. Like, I knew what they were going to be. And so, and we had talked about it a little bit, but I didn't realize really how integral having a good DJ is to a wedding. And so we lucked out because, I wasn't like, I need this
Yeah.
specific criteria. So yeah, I think in hindsight, it should have been more important to us. Um, but yeah,
I personally think it happened the way it should have happened.
yeah,
It was perfect. Everything felt organic. I said organic. That's Ebonics coming out of me. Everything was just perfect. When I think about perfect wedding days and how everything just flowed, I really think about your day as one of those days because if my memory serves me correct, didn't you guys have a bus bring people in?
yes, we had a party bus.
Yes, a part. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
And I remember towards the end of the night, I had to like remind people, hey, the bus is coming. You might want to get on it. Don't forget to leave. You don't want to not have a ride back to where you're headed. So yeah, that's awesome. Um, when you think about the night and how you envisioned it, did it go the way that you envisioned?
I think for me, I kind of tried to not have a vision because I had heard so many horror stories where people were like, this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong. And I didn't want to have like super high expectations. Like, obviously, I had high expectations, but I just kind of wanted to show up and let it happen and let it flow. And I truly think that that happened as well as it possibly could have. Um, and so I think it exceeded my expectations that I didn't really have. So
Yeah.
I think it was.
And I feel the same way. Like I said, I think kind of my goal was to get a bunch of the people that we love together and have a good time and celebrate with everyone. And I think we kind of exceeded that because yes, we were expecting to have a great time, but the whole wedding day just kind of brings everyone a little bit closer together and, is a little more connected than on your typical day. And so I think it exceeded my expectations in being able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now let me ask you, when we think about this day and you think about all the guests that you guys had at your wedding, which guest surprised you the most? What stands out when you think about your wedding day? And it doesn't really have to be music, but like which guest surprised you the most?
I think my uncles. Obviously, I think where I'm going with my one uncle. I don't know if we want to talk about it yet, but um, I had another uncle, my dad's brother. Um, was he just really busted it down on the dance floor, and usually
I
he's
love it.
like super reserved, and he was just really going crazy. Um, and then my other uncle, I don't know, he made a promise to me years and years ago that he was going to sing the Humpty Dance and rap it at my wedding, and he did that. And I think he surprised a lot of people because he doesn't really look like the guy that would. He really has this like 90s rapper inside of him that needed to come out, and it earned it.
Listen, that is, I've been DJing a long time, but I can truly say seeing your uncle rapping the Humpty Dance, which I know all the words to as well. So I was on the side just rocking with him. But that's one of the highlights of my DJ career.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give it up for your uncle real quick because listen, it's not that I didn't believe you, okay? But during the planning, you had said, hey, my uncle, has always told me he wants to rap the Humpty Dance at my wedding reception, this and that. And I'm like, okay, I got a mic for him, but, it's not that I didn't expect him to not pull it off, but it's just like, as a DJ, I kind of get leery giving somebody the mic that's not the bride or groom at a wedding. but you're like, oh no, this is great. And I'll never forget, you came and you was like, I think he's ready. And I'm like, here we go. I queued up the song. And when the song came on, you know what? I think I still have the video of it. I'm gonna have to send it to you.
Yeah.
But just amazing. Look, listen, Uncle, I love you. Thank you for that memory. I will never forget it. And it was it's something that will always stay with me for the rest of my life. So
Same.
thank you so much.
Same for us. A lot of people are
Kind of hard to forget.
Right. Now let me ask you this. When you guys go like on family holidays a day, does that still get brought up?
Sometimes that's always kind of been his party trick.
He kind of does it all the time anyway, so it kind of happens at those occasions also.
I love it. I love it.
In front of a bigger crowd.
Yeah. So it's he might sing it there. You never know.
That is so amazing. That is sweet. So let me keep moving on. If you think about your wedding night, your reception, if you could relive one song, what song would that be?
I think for me, the dance with my dad was really special. He picked the song. I didn't know what he was going to pick. I think
I remember that. Yep.
Connected with him. And it was just a really special moment because, it's really the transition between that is my family and now Matt is my family. So
exactly.
it's just kind of that really sweet transition. And my dad's always been super sappy and cries all the time. And so was I. And so we were both crying and it was just really emotional. And whenever that song plays, like I get teary eyed. And I think maybe secondary to that, the last dance of the night that we did, that I think maybe was per your suggestion. Everybody kind of cleared out and it had been such a crazy day and it kind of just brought us back to, this is really what it's about. And really centered us. And I think that was really special too. I think that those are the two things that really stick out to me.
Yeah. And I think the mother groom dance stuck out to me. I mean, it was all the same reasons. We knew that we were going to do our first dance and we knew kind of what that feeling would be like, but to be able to do it, with my mom and her with her dad is that transitionary, it's almost more real in that moment than it is the first dance in a lot of ways because it is kind of that handoff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Why do you think the DJ plays such an important role on your wedding day?
I know specifically for me, I don't like to be like nitpicky. I think that's just like the people pleaser in me. So I was just like, I'm just going to show up and it just is going to be what it is. And I think more than the music, specifically like the specific songs and all of that. Sorry, our dog is
right in the corner.
I think the direction that you kind of gave the night and, going from the vibe of the ceremony into the vibe of the cocktail hour into, the dancing, it just really drives the night and continues the night and helps people stay on track. And me specifically, I think that I am the kind of person where if there is not somebody telling me where to be, I'm just going to be all over the place and just enjoying myself. And not that I think it just helped me, stay focused on what is going to maximize my time here,
And I think it helps keep everything on track, but it does recenter everything because you could mingle and you could talk to 100 different people, but it's kind of hard to ignore a DJ saying, all right, it's time to move on to this. And, it kind of gave us that clean break to be able to kind of continue and keep the night moving forward. And it set the tone for it. I think we chose option 2 where we wanted to be kind of cool and calm during the ceremony, but then, we could party a little bit more during the reception after grandma and grandpa went home kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like she said, it just kept it flowing and just kept the vibes where they needed to be.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Let's Get Booked is brought to you by Be Fresh. If you're looking for a deep cleaning or a touch up you've been putting off in your home or your business space, I'm talking top to bottom, all the cobwebs, ceiling fans, inside, wet wipe, the baseboards, everything, beautifully clean floors, everything else in between. Contact the beautiful people over at Be Fresh so they can meet and exceed all your cleaning needs. Text or call 614-398-1275, or you can email befreshcleaning8@gmail.com. Once again, text or call 614-398-1275, or you can email befreshcleaning8@gmail.com. If you mention the code Let's Get Booked, you can receive 10% off your first service. So don't forget, when you do call or you email, mention the code Let's Get Booked, and you can receive 10% off of your first service. So look, I am here with Matt and Annie, and I am just, I don't know. Do you remember when we first met? I don't know if you remember this, but I told you I love love. Like,
I
I
remember.
just love seeing young people happy, young people in love, and because you remind me of me and my wife when we were, younger your age, and just happy, and just, and then what happens is you start having kids and this and that and this and that, and then things change. But I will tell you the phases of marriage, and I want to ask you if you've been there yet. Or have you been to the whole, hey, when are you guys going to start having kids?
Yes.
I think that's where we're living right now.
Yeah.
Don't you
That
hate it?
sounds
Like,
very
and it's like,
familiar.
yeah, and it's like, guys, just let us live our life. Let us do what we do, like
I don't even think you're the
I
first
just
person to ask me today.
oh wow. And the thing is, I remember when me and my wife, we, well, for me, it was like, hey, when are you gonna get engaged? So then you go get engaged. And then they say, hey, when are you gonna get married? So then you go get married. Hey, when are you gonna buy a house? You go buy a house. When are you gonna have kids? Okay, now I go have kids. And then you're like, okay, when are you gonna stop asking me? When am I gonna do stuff? When are
Mhm.
you gonna leave me alone? I've done everything that you've asked. Let me live my life, And sooner or later, I hope you're there and you're able to enjoy your life without being asked or pestered about, what's coming up next for you. So good luck, If you need somebody to talk to, Snead is here for you. Just hit me up. I'll be
But I
around.
think I saw what you've married for 17 years. Is that what I saw?
Yes,
Yeah.
17. We just celebrated 17 years. It's crazy.
That's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
Congratulations
Congrats.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, what advice would you give to couples that are currently planning their wedding right now, or somebody that's about to get engaged? What advice would you give to them?
I would say don't stress about the little things. There's so much anxiety in wedding planning and everything of that like that. Half of our centerpieces didn't come. The florist didn't show up with half the centerpieces or whatever.
I didn't
And
even notice. My mom the next day
Wow.
was like, could you believe that the florist didn't bring whatever? And I was like, she didn't?
yep, no. And so I think a lot of people stress down to every single detail and put so much emphasis on all of that. But to be honest, it's not worth stressing over. I mean, come in with a good plan, but just enjoy it for what it's worth and don't sweat the little stuff.
For sure. For sure. So, if you had to describe your night in 3 words, what 3 words would they be?
I would say lively for sure. Everybody had really good energy. It was really
Oh,
lively.
yeah.
I'd say connected.
Mm,
You're seeing family and people that you might not see super often. People might be traveling in. You're spending more like intimate moments with, each other's families and doing those things and building, connections and things that last a little bit longer. So I felt very connected to everyone.
Lively, connected.
yeah.
I'd probably say lighthearted.
For sure.
Like it was just a night to come out and have a good time. We tried not to have any pressure or expectations, and I think everybody felt just kind of lighthearted with it. It was somewhere where you could just come out and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I was looking back in my pictures, and I seen a picture that we took. It was us three just outside the venue. And I just remember seeing your faces and seeing, I mean, you were younger, but, you know, I remember seeing your faces and just how happy you were. And it still looks the same today, honestly. Like, and that just warms my heart, you know. So I love seeing you too. But before we get off, I really need to ask you this question. Is there anything that you would like to share with somebody about your journey, your experience about working with DJ Snead? So if somebody was like, on the fence about a DJ and this and that, what advice would you give them about DJ Snead?
I think that, you know, even though you were playing music and it was kind of loud, I think that you were kind of the silent hero of our wedding. Because like I said, we didn't necessarily come in with a plan. We didn't have a timeline where 5:30 we're going to sit down and eat, or we're going to do the first dance. And I think that we could have gotten lost in a lot of those moments without some of the guidance or shifting it around, or, you know, keeping us on track. And so I think that a DJ, or a good DJ at least, is more than just the song choices. I think that it really helps with the scheduling, the tempo, the liveliness, and the feeling behind the day. And so I would say that that's my biggest recommendation, is get a good DJ, because it's more than just the songs that are playing.
And I would say that specifically booking you, DJ Snead, like, you're not just getting another wedding vendor, you're getting somebody to joining your community, you know. Like, I don't know anybody else whose DJ has reached out to them 4 years later and still wants to connect and catch up. And it just feels like we're not just another wedding that you're DJing at. Like, it just feels like, you know, you are building your community. And I feel that when I've seen you a couple times after our wedding, and you remember us, and you know, we hug and you talk about our wedding day and all that stuff.
And you do it for the love of the game. You know, we can tell that you love the game.
I do. And I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. So Matt and Annie, thank you so much for being here with me. It has been so good catching up with you two. And my hope and prayer is that I am at another wedding and you two pop up and you're there, and I can catch up with you again. And or if you recommend me to somebody else, it would always be good to see you at another wedding. So, you know, thank you so much for coming and chatting and catching up. It has been a pleasure, seriously. And I really appreciate you too.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate you too.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Let's Get Booked. I appreciate you all checking in. Thank you again, Matt and Annie, for catching up with me. And if you're looking for a DJ, you know how to hit me up. You can just go to djsnead.com. Check me out. Hit me up. I'll be around. But other than that, until next time, I need all of y'all stay safe, stay positive, and don't forget why we're here. Let's get booked. Peace.
I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait. I'm gon' find me a play, I'm gon' find me a play. I'm gon' find it today, cause tomorrow can't wait. I'm gon' find me a play.